From the EYBL Scholastic to the WCAC to the CIF, high school basketball season is hitting the home stretch as teams jockey for postseason positioning. Now, here to chop up all things elite high school basketball with us is head coach of the #5 prolific prep crew, Ryan Bernardi. Coach, what's going on, my man?
Hey, Jason. Good morning here on the West Coast. Good afternoon to you on the East Coast.
Oh man, I bet you're doing really good coming off a weekend of 2-0. Not mad at that. 29-5 right now. Let's talk general for right now. Obviously, you guys are super talented. AJ, Tyran, Darian, Aiden. I mean, you never lack for talent. Talk to me about what makes this team special from your perspective.
Hey, this group's been really unique, Jason. And so this is year two for me at Prolific. Last year's group lost one regular season game and really coasted through a regular season. And I know we'll get into this later in the interview, but we sat here in the off season and we talked about improvements and how could we be more prepared at the end of the season, and we wanted to be tested more, right? And so this year's team has been really tested from start to finish. And so what's been unique about this group is their ability to handle adversity. You put together a team like we put together, and I would think many of the outsiders would think, oh, they'll just win every game and maybe have one or two, but no, as you know, having a team with a lot of talent takes some time. And this year's team had challenges early, very public challenges that then, but their ability to just stay consistent, handle adversity, keep coming back, has us playing close to our best basketball here and hopefully ready to make a good stretch run.
For sure. Now, tests are always tough when you're a little shorthanded. And in this case, they're a lot shorthanded. Darian Reed's been out most of the season. Talk to us about where he's at and potentially, where's he at health wise? Are you guys going to potentially get him back in the postseason? Talk to me about that. Give me an update there.
Sure. So we played 7 games at full strength.
Yeah.
And we're 7-0 with wins over Lincoln, Arizona Compass, among others. And so the first month of the season was without Tyron Stokes. And so Tyron missed the first month with an orbital fracture, which happened in a scrimmage in which he got elbowed in the eye on a total fluke play, defensive rebound. And so we missed him for the first half, for the first month. We got him back. We were playing good basketball there, the middle third of the year. And then Darian had a small tear in his meniscus right before Christmas. And he had a scope right after Christmas. He's been very diligent about his recovery, and his first practice will be Wednesday. And so Darian has been cleared. Now the final stage in his recovery is non-contact, and then getting ready for contact. But there is serious light here at the end of the tunnel, and we are right here at the end of his rehab process, which is a credit to him. Darian has been extremely disciplined and diligent on his process and on his recovery, and we're excited to welcome him back.
Nice. That's big. Huge news right there for sure. I've always respected, you guys have kind of like this unwritten anytime, any place mentality in your locker room, kind of what you spoke to for previously. Talk to me about that. Where does that mentality come from?
Absolutely, Jason. I appreciate you asking that because our schedule has been really difficult, right? You talk about on the home floor of Columbus and Montverde, both sellout games, both hostile environments, both nationally televised. And so you ask why. Everybody comes to prep school to get better and to get challenged and to play on the biggest stages.
All right.
I love Napa Valley as much as the next person, but no player is leaving their hometown and coming to Napa to sit around and practice in Napa. I
Right.
promise you that. They're coming here to go play and to be challenged. Like, you get better at Montverde, you get better at Columbus. So from an individual player's standpoint, we just believe in going and playing games. Now, how will the situation be? We can't control that, right? Like, Baylor can't control what it will be at Houston.
Right.
And we can't control what it'll be at Columbus. But we want to emulate an environment for our players and prepare them for the next level as much as possible from an individual standpoint. Then from a team standpoint, I mean, to win a national championship, you're going to have to win 3 games that are possession games that are
Right.
highly competitive, that
Sure.
down to the stretch. And as we evaluated our year one, we said, I don't know if we were in enough Geico-like games, and that is national tournament-like games, right?
Okay.
And so we wanted to be in as many national tournament-like games this year as we could, in as many different environments as we could, so that if you're in a quarterfinal game or lucky enough to be in a semifinal or championship game, you've got experiences to draw on. You've got, hey, remember against Link up 3 with a minute. Remember against Montverde, down 9-2 and then up 8 at halftime, right? There's so many experiences to draw on and adversity to work through that playing a tough schedule does that.
Yeah. I mean, you touched on this a little bit too, but I'll ask it anyway. Two classic matchups with number one Montverde. I'm sure a lot of coaches have been hitting you up for that game film. So talk to me about what you guys take from that specific matchup as a team that you could potentially see in the postseason.
Well, first off, there's a ton of respect for Coach Boyle and his program and that team. That team is extremely selfless. The pieces really fit well together. They play very hard. They're well coached, and so there's a lot of respect for their program and that team.
Yeah.
Both games, as you said, were absolute classics. It came down to the end that either team could have won. Both games, Montverde jumped out to quick starts, and I think you touch on what to learn. I mean, when you play against them and how long they are and how sharp they are, like both games, it took us 2 to 4 minutes to get adjusted to the level of play, just at how talented they are. And they jump on teams game in and game out. And so being ready from go is a big thing to take away. I think we walk away with a humble confidence in that, listen, we're right in the game. Both games
Right.
with under 2:30 to go, we had a lead. And
Yeah.
so you walk
Huge.
away saying you got to find a way to execute better down the stretch. And
Yeah.
the good thing is, in both games, we had a fill-in coach named Darian Reed that was on the coaching staff. But it'll be good to have him transition from coach to player here for
Yeah.
a potential next matchup.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not mad at him for making the transition on that. That's my guess
That's
anyway.
a good transition. Hey, it's a way better transition than the head coach making that transition. I'll tell you that.
There you go. All right, so we're talking, nationals obviously looming. Teams are adding to their postseason resumes even as we speak. At this point, give me your best pitch, for the postseason and why you guys deserve to be as high or in or whatever. Just give me your best pitch. I know you're a great salesman.
Sure. Well, if we're if we're lucky enough to be selected, I think the reasons would be, there are a couple. Number one is we've got a roster that's talented enough to beat any team and to win any game and to go on any run.
Sure.
In that we're balanced. We've got positional size, and we've got talent at every position. And so we've proven through our body of work, despite injuries, that there's not many teams in the country that overmatch us. Now it comes down to late game execution and winning or losing. It comes down to whether it be making free throws or not turning it over, or following defensive assignments, and so that winning or losing depends on those things. But I think as you look at the body of work, even dating back to Border League, going through the season, I think we've proven that there's not a team that's going to overmatch us, and then then the other pitch is just I think those Montverde games, in that if you look at their body of work and you look at the final scores of their undefeated slate, and you look at the scores going into the fourth quarter, and then you compare that to our 2 games, I think you could be looking at a really good matchup there
Yeah.
if the chips draw where they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, that's a hard sell if I've ever heard one. Definitely, definitely, definitely appreciate your time, Coach. Giving us a lot to think about, but I definitely appreciate you joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, Jason, thank you.